What's up, y'all? I am your girl, Candy. And you know, I love to speak on it. But today, I brought somebody else in to speak on it with me. I have my girl, Garcelle Beauvais.
Hello! I'm so happy to be here with you.
I had already heard.
I can turn a shade tree into a money tree.
First of all, normally, I have, my thoughts in everything that I have to say about the Real Housewives of Atlanta, but I had to bring a beautiful sister on from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills to speak on things from your perspective from the West Coast.
Now, Garcelle Beauvais is about to join the Real Housewives franchise.
Hi, I'm Garcelle Beauvais, the newest housewife of Beverly Hills.
Now, you have received a lot of attention for making history as the first Black woman. How does that feel? Yeah, there you are.
It's great. I also feel like it's about time.
Yeah.
Because we are in every zip code.
Come on.
Yes. So I think it's exciting.
I hate to say that you're from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills because we know you from so many different places in entertainment.
Yes, I've been around for a minute. When I felt like I was making a mark in the industry is when I got the Jamie Foxx show. And I think the reason why I got the job is I wasn't really competing to be funnier than he was.
Okay, let's just start with a simple question of what made you decide to do the Real Housewives?
I was actually at the airport. I had just landed on a trip shooting a scripted show because I'm an actor by trade. And I got a call and they were like, "You're a housewife." And I was like, "Shut up." I was screaming at the airport.
I'm still trying to figure it out. I really wanted to do something different. And it's funny because when my manager called me and he's like, "There's interest in you for the Beverly Hills. We're going to pass, but I just want to let you know." I guess because he figures I know so many people, they may say, "Hey, we came to your manager," and he passed without, talking to me. And then I was like, wait a minute. Let me sleep on it for a minute because I really wanted to. I feel like when opportunities come, there's a reason for it. There's a timing for it. And they had come around a few years ago and I wasn't ready. My kids were too little. So this time around, I thought, you know what? Let's think about it. Let me talk to my kids. Let me talk to my ex, because obviously, everybody who's in your life is on the show.
Right.
And I felt like the timing was right. I was traveling so much with acting. Grateful that I've been working so much. But Atlanta, Phoenix, Toronto, Vancouver, all these places. And I really like the idea of being home, especially my kids are in middle school. You raised Riley. You want to be around all those years that are where peers are starting to come in and influence them a little bit. So the timing just felt right. And I thought nowadays you can't box us in. I can be more than just an actress. I'm an author, I produce. So it was like, okay, let's go for it. Let's see what it's like.
I want to say thank you to my new best friends. Some of them, not so much.
Well, I'm glad you made that decision.
Thanks.
And now that you have, how are you feeling about it?
It's so different. Like I told you yesterday that when I first started, I was waiting for somebody yell action, because that's what I'm used to. And I'm like, nobody's going to say action? They were like, no, we don't do that here. It's interesting because I've never really had cameras in my house, in my car, my kids getting mic'd. So I was a little nervous about that. I was nervous about reliving my divorce, which was, one of the most painful things in my life, and having to share that with people all over again. And I thought that I had won the lotto in husbands. My life was just turned upside down. I forgot my phone at home. I said, "Hey, can I use your phone to call your mom?" So I went to go make the call and I saw, "I love you." I looked again and I said, "What's this?" And that's pretty much how everything changed. And people who didn't know about it now, no. So that was tough for me. But everything else, I can handle the women, the bickering and all that. I'm okay with that. I know who I am. Mm-hmm. And I think this is the right time to do it because I feel good in my skin, if I can say that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know who I am. You can't push me unless I let you push me.
You brought up your ex and reliving that. How does he feel about that spotlight being put on the both of you and your past?
Not good.
Hey, guys.
Whoa.
Hi. Oh, hi, Dad.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good.
The first day after it aired that I revealed it, he called me and I go, "Hey, how you doing?" He goes, "Not good." And I'm like, I'm sure.
I remember the day that my life just changed from what I knew it.
It was like a death.
And he said, I've been having an affair. And I said, how long? And he said, 5 years.
You know, I think for him, obviously, we've worked so hard to, I'm going to say I worked really hard. He did too, but I really had to put this behind me really quick. My kids were 3 and I grew up, my dad wasn't in my life. So there wasn't an equation or a scenario where he wasn't going to be in their life, because that's not okay. So I really had to work hard. I went to therapy. I got a life coach because I had to get ahead of this so that my kids wouldn't suffer because of, you know, stuff that happens. So, yeah, so he wasn't happy that they had to relive it, but also the producers were really great. They were like, you know, we want to have a relationship with you for a long time and with your ex. So we're not looking to throw you guys under the bus, which I thought was really commendable. They understood that we're still a family, and I still respect that, and that's important to me.
Well, that's good. You did let the cat out the bag that you basically lit his ass up through email.
I did. I didn't think the email though was going to be leaked to the press. That was not right.
You didn't think that through? You didn't think? Yeah, no. It's so funny because, okay. So let me just say this. Okay. You being the star that you are, obviously, you know, for a lot of us who have watched you on television for years and years and years, I don't know. We don't think about you going through the drama of the everyday woman.
We all are the same. We all go through it. You know, it's interesting because when I met Mike, I was, not that I'm not in my prime, but I was sort of in my prime. I had moved to LA. I was, you know, on a hit show after one another. And it was really important to me that I married someone that I thought was going to be safe. I already had a son, so he would be a stepfather to my oldest son, Oliver, who was 7 at the time that he met Mike. So it was really important that I choose someone that I thought was reliable, was good on paper, showed up when he said he was going to, like, all those things were really important to me. I needed stability. And interestingly enough, the person I married was stable to a point and was there, but at the same time had this other life that I never would have known unless I had hired a private investigator to follow him.
Right.
So I tried to do the right thing, and you never know. Life happens. Yeah.
We have a few questions that I want to run past you. Let's just touch on the ladies of the show. Are they easy to blend with?
For the most part, yes. I think everybody wants to have a good time. Everybody, you know, wants to, you know, have their footing in there, but still hold their grounds. Whenever you get 8 strong women, modern women, opinionated women together, there's going to be friction.
What else should I do, Teddy?
Oh, those are fighting words. For me, that is some white people stuff. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Talk about fancy, this is how we roll.
But for the most part, we all sort of liked each other, you know, starting off. And I think for me, being the first Black woman, I think people didn't know how I was going to come in. And I didn't want to come in with a chip on my shoulder. I didn't want to be labeled an angry Black woman because that's not who I am. I mean, I can get angry, but that's not who I am as my person, as my everyday person. So I really wanted to be me and see where I sit. And the thing that I felt like was lacking, I felt like no one really asked me my experience as a Black woman, just in life. And I think whenever you meet someone, you want to know about them. And I didn't feel like I got that.
Okay, so who is your favorite of the cast?
Oh, my favorite. I love Erica because I feel like we're very similar. We say how it is and we keep it moving.
I love her. Yeah. She's direct, she's fun, she's smart, she's bright. I enjoy it.
Boom.
Yeah.
Also, Denise Richards, I've known for umpteen years.
I've known Garcelle for many years.
And the other ones I'm getting to know. Lisa Rinna, I've known for a long time too.
I've known Garcelle for over 20 years, probably 25 years. You know, we've been in this career, this acting business for a very long time.
Least favorite.
Oh, come on. Candy. Least favorite right now, I would have to say Kyle Richards because we've been having some friction.
I have to bring something up. When I left Erica's house, I felt very uneasy. I felt like I keep bringing things up to you and you glaze over them. And I have an example.
Bring it on.
I felt like, I think the women were scared of Black social media coming after them if they went after me. So I think this first season, everybody sort of tiptoed around me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the one thing I wish they had just come out and really said how they felt, if they felt a certain way or not.
Isn't it crazy how you think one person is cool and they feel one way, but then you watch the show back and you're like, oh, tell us how you really feel.
Okay. That's what I'm finding really hard, because we shot the show and, it was fun for the most part, but watching it again, it's like a whole different experience. And then you have people weighing in, the world weighing in on who they think you are or your relationship with this person. Like,
right.
I realize what everything I say becomes a headline the next day. Like
for sure.
That is, woo!
I think we are similar in the sense of we had a life before the show.
Right.
And when you have a life before the show, me personally, I feel like you kind of like, okay, well, I was already famous before I got on this show, whatever. But do you find that now that you are a part of the show, that it's like a whole new world that has opened up to fans that have opened up to you that probably, they didn't know what you were doing before? Like,
absolutely. I've had somebody on Twitter goes, I don't even know who she is. And then other people would chime in and go, they would send them my IMDb page and go, she's done this, she's done that, she's done this. So yeah, you get new fans and you get new haters too.
New haters. Now that's the other thing about, to me,
Yeah.
Okay, this is my opinion. I feel like people are more invested in reality TV stars
Amen.
than any other type of celebrity. Meaning, it doesn't matter if you're a singer or an actress.
Yeah.
A reality star in that same room, they get from just the everyday fans that come around, they get more, hits online, on social media, following. It's like the people are really into, they feel like they know your whole life.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And they can weigh in on everything. Whether I didn't want to buy my son Gucci because I thought he was too young, and I want my kids to earn things. I don't want to just lavish them with everything. I didn't grow up like that.
I want some Gucci.
What? You need to get a job.
We are 11.
So they weigh in on everything. They're so invested, and I'm not used to that. I'll do a TV show, I'll do movies, I'll do this and that, and people will say, oh, loved your movie. But now people feel like they know. Like they can practically go, I don't like the color of your kitchen. Well, you know what? That's too bad.
Right. It's so crazy to me how it is, because it's like it's a whole different world. Because I thought, I was like, oh yeah, because like I would say, prior to being on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, people would say, oh yeah, that's Candy, or that girl from Escape, or, whatever it may be that they knew of me from. But when I got on this show, it was like full name, Candy Burruss.
Okay.
Like walking down the street and I'm like, they're calling my government name. What is going on?
Not your government name.
Okay, let's hit a fun topic. You mentioned on an episode that your son came across your vibrator.
Yes. Oh my God.
What happened?
These damn kids. I was watching a movie the other day, and every time they walked into my bedroom, I had to turn it off. I was watching this really sexual movie. And I'm like, kids, they're everywhere. But yeah, he found my vibrator. I forgot. He came and laid on my bed. He went under the sheets and he was like, what's this? And I was like, oh, it's a really great massage for your shoulders.
No, he touched it.
And I know one day he will really know the meaning and he'll be like, Mom.
Wait, so clearly it wasn't one that was shaped in the shape of.
No. It was just, a long one. It wasn't shaped like a penis. Thank you, God.
That would have been
a whole other conversation.
I'm going to send you a gift box of bedroom candy. Yay! Okay, so here's another one. Okay, first of all, are you single or are you dating?
I am very single.
Okay.
Still single.
So how is...
You will see me dating on Housewives this past year. I dated somebody for a hot minute.
And you are now dating writer Michael Elliott. Oh my goodness. How did you two first meet?
That will be revealed, but yeah, I'm definitely single.
So how is quarantining right now in LA? Because I know everything is pretty much shut down, right? I was there.
Everything is shut down. They're just now starting to open up. And let me tell you, I had a hard time at first because, like you, I'm very busy. I stay active. And the first few weeks, I really had a hard time. I don't have anxiety, but I felt like I was starting to get that because I just felt, you know, I have my kids a week on and a week off. And even through quarantine, we kept it the same because we thought it was fair for both parents, you know, to keep some kind of normalcy for the boys.
Right.
So when I had them, I felt like I was more full. I was cooking all the time and cleaning all the time. That was one aspect.
Right.
And then when I didn't have them, I felt lonely. I didn't know what to do with myself. I would go for drives, but then I couldn't get out of the car because we were in quarantine.
Right.
And, it took a lot of getting used to. And then when I finally started to take one day at a time, like don't think, what are you going to do Friday? What are you going to do for the weekend? Just take one day at a time and just deal with this day. And then I started, you know, sort of reflecting and not journaling, but started to meditate and realize that I never wanted to get married. And now I'm thinking after quarantine, I might be open to it. I might be open to getting married again. Yeah. So I used it for, you know, self-reflection. And, you know, I had just moved into my house, so I got to organize, and I hadn't spent a lot of time in the house because I had been traveling, working a lot. So I got to spend time in the house, which is great. And then started my podcast during quarantine, which gave me something really good to do.
Which was fun. I mean, if that's the way it goes every week, I'm like, oh my God.
That's how it goes every week, which is always in the topic.
You have 3 sons. So with everything that's going on in this world right now, your sons are African-American. You're African-American, so they're Now I know that your youngest 2 are biracial.
Yeah.
Right? But is your son, is he?
He's all black. He's all black. He's 100% black.
So how do you explain the Black Lives Matter movement or what's happening in this world right now? How do you explain that to them?
Well, my son Oliver, who's older, we've always talked about, you know, if the police ever pull you over, how to behave, how to act, you know, always be respectful, always be, you know, don't move too fast. Like we've always had those conversations. And with my little ones, even when they were a baby, I created this book series called I Am, and the first one was I Am Mixed because I didn't feel like I wanted to get ahead of someone saying, why is your mom black and your dad white? Like I didn't want anybody to put a negative connotation on it before I had the chance to talk to them about it. So we've always talked about what it's like being black, you know, the injustice that we feel, just everyday things that, you know, when I was enrolling them in school, it was important that the school was diverse, you know, and I have white friends who were like, wow, I never really thought about that. Well, you don't have to think about that.
They don't have to think about it.
They don't have to think about that. I remember one day being at the market with my oldest son, and he's all tatted up. We separated. He went to go get something. I was getting something else. And then he was trying to find me. So now I'm at the end of the aisle and he's coming at the other end of the aisle. And there's an older white woman in between us. And she looks behind her and she sees Oliver. Immediately, her body language changed. She clutched onto her bag. And now I'm watching all this. And it broke my heart because if this woman had fallen, if anything had happened to her, Oliver would have been the first person to help her out. He would have been the first person to help her out. And I thought, she is reacting for the color of his skin, for the tattoos that he has on him. And it just broke my heart because it's like, you don't even know him, but your reaction, and that's the reaction we get. When yes, a few months ago before quarantine, I got pulled over and my son Jax was in the back seat. And I was happy that he was in the car because he got to see how you handle it. I was very respectful. I said, I'm reaching for my wallet so I can show you my ID and my registration. And it was almost like a cautionary tale of him seeing how you act when the police pull you over.
And the sad thing is that we do have to be so careful and so cautious, so much more than anybody else. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't be respectful anyway, but it just seems like we have to be extra respectful.
Everything.
So here's another one. Back to this whole dating thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we talked about me hooking you up yesterday.
Yeah, who are you gonna hook me up with, Candy?
Well, I still have to put some real thought into it because if I'm gonna hook somebody up, it's gotta be good. It's not gonna be whoever. What type do you like? What is your type?
What is my type? I like tall, lean. I like funny. I love romance. I'm romantic. I'm such a girly girl. It's so funny because I go back and forth because I'm so independent. I've taken care of myself since I was 17 when I left home. So sometimes I tend to be a little bit more dudeish, right? So I have to learn to be a little bit more feminine sometimes. So I really want a man who can, because I'm such a strong person, that I need a man who can handle me and check me when I need to be checked. I find that sexy. So I definitely want somebody, I don't want this whole in touch with their feminine side, a little bit, not a lot of it.
To me.
One more thing, monogamous.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
For sure. All right. Here's another question. You are financially, doing well for yourself, I would assume. I'm just making assumptions. But how do you feel when in comparison to the men that you meet? Like what status do they have to be in?
That's a very good question. And I'm going to be 100% honest. I definitely would love someone who's doing better than me. I mean, obviously, because I think being a single mom, being independent, sometimes you want someone you can lean on, whether it's, with my job as an actor, you're not always working. You have lulls, ebbs and flows. But I definitely would love somebody who does better than me. But ambition is a big deal. So if you don't have as much as me or more than me, but I need your ambition. I need you to strive. I don't want you to be just coasting and that's good enough for you, because that, in the end, that's not good enough for me.
Right. You gotta be a man with a plan.
Yeah. You gotta have a plan.
Yeah, plan and you're about to take action. It's not
executing a plan, not just a plan, you're executing it.
Exactly. I don't want you sitting around daydreaming about what you want to happen. I want you to actually be putting into action whatever the goal is.
Because that's who I am.
Okay, so let me say, I actually have a text group and people
I heard about that.
Yes. So, I text, they text me and I text them, but when I knew that I was going to be on with you today, obviously I sent them a text and said, hey, if you have any questions, go ahead and send them to me. There was one specifically that I need to go back and find because, I always like to shout the people out. Unfortunately, I don't see her name right now. I'll go back and find it later. But the reason why I wanted to ask her question is because she watches a show that I watches.
Okay.
And she wanted to know, what is going on with your character? Are you gonna ever come back? Like
which show?
Siren.
Oh, I didn't hear the word Siren. Oh, I love that show. Yeah, no, Siren actually, what I loved about that show is that it wasn't your typical mermaid show. It was dark, the characters were layered. I felt like the characters were dimensional, which is what I love. My character went through drug addiction and being a horrible mom, and so I would love to go back. I really enjoyed that.
All right. Here's a question from Michelle Barcliff Glover. She says, have you noticed any difference in the treatment of you during this protesting time or any time, as if they don't want to stir the pot because you are Black?
Yeah, I think when I first started the show, I felt like everybody was a little nervous, and I can understand now, but we're done shooting. So the next time I'll see the women will be at the reunion. So we'll see what happens next.
Here's from Lakeel Ellis. They said, do you look forward to going back to the show as well? And do you know Lisa Vanderpump? Do you know her?
I don't know her. I've been to her restaurants. I've seen her at the restaurant, but I don't know her. And this is way before Housewives was even in the realm of possibilities. Am I looking forward to it? I'm kind of on the fence, if I have to be completely honest. I always say, let me get through the reunion and then we'll go from there.
Oh, okay. So Dr. Kimberly Milton said, she was saying, telling me congratulations on interviewing you.
Oh.
And then she said, with the assumption that it won't be released on December 18th, 2020.
When the other project I'm so excited about,
What?
Coming to America.
Oh my God, yes!
Oh my gosh, for those who don't remember, you were a rose bearer. Look at baby you.
Will Coming to America be released next year or has it been pushed further back? Do you have any idea?
I haven't heard at all. I mean, I'm thinking they're still going for December 2020. I mean, it's still we're done. Well, yeah, we done filming. We shot in Atlanta, as a matter of fact. We shot at Tyler Perry's studio, which was ridiculously amazing. And just the fact that when you're on the highway sign says Tyler Perry Studios was just like, okay, he's arrived. Not that he wasn't before. And then we shot at Rick Ross's house, which was, let's talk about, it's a compound.
You know, this house used to be Evander Holyfield's house.
I heard that.
Yeah.
I mean, you had a Louis Vuitton room that I was hoping I could sneak something under my costume. Was insane.
I haven't been in it since he's been there, but I mean, so many people go because he has big parties and different things. But I think he has like the largest swimming pool in the United States or something.
Yes, in the Atlantic. Yes, the largest pool. He had horses. He had the thing that I was really impressed by. Not only did his gates have his, RR everywhere, but he has like, those helicopter lights that flash.
Yeah.
Right? Well,
yeah.
You can see his initials on the grounds when they flashed, and I was like, that's a lot. But he couldn't have been nicer. He was so gracious. He was really nice.
So this is a good question. So listen, okay, you know how you do your podcast.
Yes, Going to Bed with Garcelle.
Yes, Going to Bed with Garcelle. Okay, so the thing that I loved about being on your podcast is because it did remind me of when I was doing Candy Coated Nights.
Yep.
So the same way you have a question that you ask at the end of each show, which is who you want to go to bed with, I had a question at the end of my show, which is what is your freak number? So Anna Pierre Forte said, what's Garcelle's freak level?
Oh, shoot.
Scale of 1 to 10.
I would have to say probably a 9.
What?
Quiet as it's kept. 9.
That is so funny because, at first you were like, oh, I used to never talk about sex. And I'm like, well.
Growing up.
Yeah.
Listen, growing up in a Haitian family, we didn't talk about anything. We didn't talk about menstrual. We didn't talk about sex. We didn't talk about anything. So I wasn't allowed. It wasn't until I left home at 17, moved to New York to start my modeling career. That's when freedom. That's when I started feeling my sort of sexuality.
So where were you born and raised?
I was born in Haiti and I grew up in Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When I left Haiti at the age of 7, I didn't speak a word of English. I learned English watching Sesame Street.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, see, that's an interesting point I've never known about you. How did you know at that age and at that time that, okay, I'm going to be able to be a model?
I had no idea. First of all, I didn't even know what a model was really. Around the age of 15, 16, people would say to my mom, she should model. She's so pretty. And we really didn't know what that was or how you go about it or anything like that. I wanted to be a flight attendant because I love traveling. I thought I could travel. And so one day when we moved from Massachusetts to Miami, I had a friend who said, I'm going to be an extra in a commercial. Do you want to be an extra? And I was like, what's an extra? And he told me, and it was an orange juice commercial. It was for 2 days. And he was like, you get paid. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. So one of the leads of the commercial was this really beautiful Black girl. So by the end of the second day, I got the nerve to go up to her and say, I want to do what you're doing. How do I do that? Girl, she was not there to help me. She was like,
oh, wow.
She was not having it. So I actually found out what agency she was with. So one day I'm driving, it was in Fort Lauderdale, it's called Irene Marie. And I decided I'm gonna just drive there. I didn't have photos, I didn't know what to do, but I thought I'm gonna go. And so I'm driving to Fort Lauderdale. I stop at a red light and I look out the window to check my makeup, and I decided that I needed more lip gloss. So I'm going through my purse to get lip gloss out, and a hand pops in the car, scares the shit out of me, right? Mm-hmm. And it was the woman who was at the light behind me. She got out of her car. She gave me her card. She said, you should be a model. And I swear to you, Candy, it was the owner of the agency that I was driving to without an appointment.
What?
I swear to God. And I was just so stunned because she gave me her card. She went back to her car. The light turned green. And I'm looking. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And now I drive to the agency. I hand them the card. And of course, I needed nothing else. And then I started testing, taking pictures to, build my portfolio. And about 8 months later, Eileen Ford, famous for Ford models, goes all over the country scouting for girls. And she came in, they invited me to come in to meet her. And I left for New York 4 months later and started my career and lived with Eileen Ford.
So this lady just saw you driving by.
You couldn't write.
That's what you call gorgeous. Okay.
That's ridiculous. And so that's how my career started.
Wow. Well, that was destiny.
That was destiny. Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. There's so many questions. People have so many things they want to know about you.
I love this platform for you, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm surprised there's no Jamie Foxx questions.
Well, they were, but I figured you got them all the time. So okay, here's one from Carol Brown. She says, please ask her if she would do a reboot of the Jamie Foxx show.
In a heartbeat. I don't know why we haven't done it. I don't get it.
Well, why don't you bring it up to him?
I do. I don't know. It must be a reason that he doesn't want to say, but you know, we hang out all the time. I'm at his house. He comes to my events. We have a really great friendship, but I don't know. I don't know if it has something to do with Warner Brothers, you know, which is the original place where we shot it, or executive producers. I don't know, but it would be a no-brainer for me.
Latasha H says, happy to see Garcelle added to the show. It's amazing how you and your ex-husband have an amicable relationship. Thanks for sharing with the world. Here's her question. What is the reason Garcelle and Kyle did not see eye to eye, and have they settled the matter? FYI, stirring the pot with her is good TV. I'm just saying.
I would hear her say my name off, you know, like if we were at Denise's dinner. And so she was like, I feel like everybody's, you know, fake ass bitch. And then I would say, oh, tell me, did I do something? And she'd be like, no, I don't want to single you out.
I really don't know where that came from. I thought we got along really well. And I really don't know where that came from.
Yeah, you know, it's so interesting because with Kyle, she was nice to me. My thing was that it wasn't that she wasn't nice to me. I just felt like everything I said went over her head. You know, it wasn't like if I brought up a strong point, I think she just didn't want to really single me out. And she actually said it. There's a clip where she's like, no, I don't want to single you out. And so I think that was my thing with it. It's like, we're all grown women.
Right.
Have a conversation. I need to ask you, how are you dealing with juggling with all these babies now?
Girl.
You couldn't pay me to do it again. You couldn't pay me.
Not pay you. Oh my God. Well, I mean, at this point, I agree with you.
Okay.
But to be honest with you, I'm sitting up here, I'm trying to figure out how did you do two at the same time?
Can I tell you, the first year was the hardest thing I had ever gone through in my life. I would wake up in the morning at 3 o'clock in the morning. One would be crying. I'd feed him. I'd change him. I'd get him back to bed. I went back to my room. I looked at the clock. It was 3:30. I went to sleep. I heard a cry. I sat up. I looked at the clock. It was 3:45. It was like, it was the other one. I was like, it was the hardest thing ever.
I could only imagine. I want to know what's next for you.
I am producing. I am so excited about producing. I have 2 movies in the works prior to quarantine, so we just have to refigure it out when we're doing them. But I will continue to act. And Going to Bed with Garcelle is one of my bucket list things that I've always wanted to do. So I'm hoping we can sell it as a show. That's really where I wanted to live. And then we'll see, and maybe get married. Who knows, depending on who you fix me up with. No pressure, Candy.
Hey, I am gonna come with a good one. Just give me I gotta like put some real thought into it, because I don't want to just be like fly by night. I want to have somebody.
I don't want it either that way.
And would you be willing to move? Is the question.
I can't because of my kids.
Oh, right.
I can only move when they go to college, which, you know, they're 12, so not that long.
When you and your husband split up, did you ever look back?
I did. I looked back in the sense of, I really didn't want this time around to have another set of kids going back and forth, because my relationship with Oliver's dad didn't work out. So I saw what it takes for a kid to go back and forth. And that's one of the things that I really didn't want to do. And so when I looked back, it was like, can I keep my family together? But I also felt like if I went back, it would change who I was, because I'd be checking phones, I'd be questioning everything.
Right.
Who I am. And I felt like that would change the essence of me. and it wasn't worth it. I mean, not that my kids weren't worth it. We get along so well now that this is the right thing. And I even said to the boys recently, I'm like, are you guys okay? I always check in with them. You know, are you okay with the back and forth? And they're like, everything's great the way it is, Mom. And I think I have more of a hang up about it than they do.
Are you excited about the new house?
Yeah, I don't have to share a room with this.
With your nice brother?
My nice brother.
That's not what you were going to say.
Because they don't know any different. They don't remember before 3 years old.
Mm-hmm.
All of us being together like that, you know?
Okay, I'm gonna ask a question. If it's too much, then just say, okay, girl, it's too much.
Okay.
What happened to the other woman? Did they continue a relationship or is she gone?
No. I don't care. I don't know.
I just always want to know, like, when they risk a great marriage or a family with something like that, I'll be more like, okay, well, in the end, like,
right. I think, it's so funny because when that happens to you as a woman, you question, was I not enough? Was this not enough? Were we trying to have babies and that put too much pressure on the relationship? But we have to remember that when someone cheats, a lot of it doesn't have to do with the person that got cheated on. It's more about what they felt they were missing inside, that they had to go do this. So once I went through therapy and realized that it wasn't really about me. Yes, I was in the relationship. Yes, it wasn't the perfect relationship. Who has that? I can let go and say, that was his thing. That was my thing. And, that's not going to take me down. But it's tough, it's tough. I don't wish it on my worst enemy. I wouldn't, especially when you have kids, because I thought this was it for me,
Right. I understand that. Totally.
Yeah.
So, well, that was it for today. I don't want to ask you anymore at the moment. I will reserve that opportunity at another time.
You ...
And please tell everybody how they can follow you or how they can watch your podcast.
Yes, please. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, Go Into Bed with Garcelle. And on Instagram, I'm at Garcelle, and on Twitter at Garcelle B, and Garcelle Beauvais on Facebook.
Okay.
I adore you, and I'm so proud of everything that you have accomplished, your family, your career, your businesses, all of it. Keep shining. Keep shining.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me today. And thank all of you for watching Speak On It.
Bye, babe.
I had already heard.
I can turn a shade tree into a money tree.
Yeah, I'm trying to see it. I need to blend this in.
I love what you're wearing. What is that?
It's actually just the top to a short skirt.
Oh, it's cute.